Yeah. No, we came prepared for the race. My daughter as well.
I'm not Nicky, this isn't yours, is it?
No.
Thank you very much.
We're here today to call for a ceasefire to stop the Israeli bombing of Palestine, which has been going on for 10 weeks or more. Over 20,000 killed, over 6,000 children and many more buried in the rubble. It's a crime against humanity. It's a crime under international law. And the sole thing that the Palestine Solidarity Campaign is asking for is for Israel to follow the law, to be held to account for the occupation of Palestinian land over the last 70 years, for the blockade of Gaza for the last 16 years, and for the most recent killing by bombing of many, many thousands of Palestinians who've been displaced from their own homes in order to provide for settlers. The British government is in lockstep with the US government in unequivocally supporting this tragedy. The bombing of Palestine, the blood is on the hands of our politicians and those of the USA, which supplies millions, billions of dollars worth of aid in terms of military weapons to support the war machine against an unarmed civilian population in Gaza. Today we are supported by many organizations of faith and no faith, Christians and Muslims, and many others, including Jewish people, who are against what they see happening in Palestine. Together, it is possible for us to bring an end to these crimes. There's a few of you here who are old enough to remember the apartheid system in South Africa, where the people of Cardiff and Wales and indeed across the world protested to bring an end to that regime. And we did. There's now a democratic system in South Africa. That's what we want to see come about in the Palestine-Israel territories, from the river to the sea. Free democratic state for all the people, whatever their race, whatever their religion, to live together. In Wales, we're very proud of our multi-ethnic population, very proud of welcoming refugees. People can live together, and we know very well that they can. This is not about race, it's not about religion, it's about politics. And it's about power. And it's about land, and the land of the Palestinians has been taken from them in defiance of international law over many, many years. Write to your MPs, write to your members of the Senate, don't buy the products of Israel. Go in your Tesco's and Sainsbury's and everywhere else and look to see what they're selling. There's plenty of dates on sale. Make sure that you don't buy Israeli products, because they are supporting a war machine that is criminally killing millions of men, women and children. And it's still going on. Bethlehem today, there is no Christmas. There's no Christmas in Bethlehem because of the power of that war machine bombing and killing Palestinians. So thank you all for coming and supporting us. We're going to have some singing, not from me thankfully, but we'll have singing and choirs and who knows what. So I'd like to hand over to the next speaker. If I can see them coming. And this vigil will go on for some time. If you've got candles, you want to light, come inside and light them. You can go inside the church as well. we will be here and we will be protesting for as long as it takes to end this tragedy. Thank you.
My name's Dean Saxby, and I'm here because I believe the Israeli government is not valuing the lives of Palestinians to the same degree that they value their own people. And I'm a committed Christian, I'm a born-again Christian, and I think all the Palestinians are made in the image of God, and I think their lives are as valuable as anybody else's. And I'm also a Conservative, a member of the political party, the Conservatives, and I believe my own party does not fully appreciate the fact that the Israeli nation has kicked off the Palestinians off their own land over the last 50 years. And I believe my own political party hasn't recognised that the Israeli government has made the lives of the Palestinians almost impossible. And that's the reasons why I'm here today. And I'm also here because I think there are people in the church, the global church that I'm a part of, that have to realise that actually the Israeli nation is no more godly than any other nation on earth. And so that's why I'm here today. And I think it's important that if we don't make a stand and do something, then I actually feel that that makes us in part guilty with other people that haven't done their bit to protest what's going on. So that's why I'm here, because in the Iraq war I couldn't make up my own mind as to what I thought. So to be honest, I feel like I share some of the blame for that. So that's why I've come here, like you all, to protest. Who's next?
Hello, I'm Sabrine, sorry for the cold. I also have an anesthetic on my tongue, so I'm not speaking the best today. So I'm Sabrine. I was born in Jerusalem. My family is all from Bethlehem. I was baptized, as many generations of my family, in the Nativity Church. My grandparents got married in the Nativity Church in 1946. So my family is a Palestinian Christian family, and we have been in Bethlehem for centuries and generations. So today I saw a video that started with what would happen to Jesus if he was born in Bethlehem today. And they were listing a series of things, from being closed off in the wall, being stopped at checkpoints, being arrested, and etc. And it made me think about what my family, as a family who was born in Bethlehem for generations, actually went through over the years. And I started to make a list, and I couldn't believe myself. And also I couldn't believe that I haven't really talked about it openly before now. And so I can tell you that my family in the West Bank has been arrested. I'm not going to say who, but in general, we have been arrested, we have been tortured, we have been abused, we have been stopped at checkpoints. Minors in our family have been arrested and abused and detained in administrative detention without any accusation. We have, our workplace have been ransacked and destroyed. We have been stopped and searched. We have been stripped naked and left for hours in cold rooms. And this is West Bank. So just think for a second what happened in Gaza right now. It's so much more than that. And as I said, if in my family has been on for a generation, you don't believe who is telling you that it started 2 months ago. It started 75 years ago. So let's, now that we are getting close to Christmas, like tomorrow, in 2 days, let's not forget the land where the Jesus we pray to was born, has been under occupation for almost 75 years. So as a Palestinian Christian, in the last couple of weeks or so, I have been asked again and again and again, how do I feel about Christmas? I mean, you can guess. I'm not celebrating Christmas. My country is not celebrating Christmas. But I'm a creative writer. I teach writing at the university here in Cardiff. And I have wrote a poem. Actually, I wrote it just before Thanksgiving, during the pause. So I think I'm gonna share it with you today. I found my phone. And so this is how Palestinians in the diaspora, so Palestinians who are not allowed to go back to Palestine, feel about Christmas. In September, we plan for a romantic autumn, weekends in the countryside, Sunday lunches. We bought all we needed for do-it-yourself Christmas decorations, treats, and we booked flights and concerts. We made lists and promises. Then October starts, and while you send us pictures of your weekend getaways, and in the group chat everyone says, how cute, how pretty, we go to marches. You tell us about the movies you watch, but you don't want to listen to what we saw, story after story, bomb after bomb, body after body. You show us the food you ate, these stacks of burgers and chips, and our stomachs are closed. Our checkpoints are closed, no food in. You share on Instagram pictures of friends and beers. We share pictures of children drinking tears. November, and we ask you for help, and you say, oh, how bad? And then we beg you, help. Sorry, you said, I can't. I have a life, I have a job, stakes are high. I have holidays to book, I have Christmas gifts to buy. You know, you are too selfish, you're a bit greedy, I have my own headaches. Pause. So you can celebrate your Thanksgiving. So you can have your shopping spree, guilt-free, your conscience as black as your Friday, and we collect money for 8 trucks. See, it's not too bad, you say, new phone in hand. You are exaggerating. Why can you not talk about something else? You are not the one being bombed. You are not the one dying. How can I tell you that we are all dying? You are too aggressive, too angry, too radical. Your poetry is not even poetry. Too sad, too upsetting, too political. Why can't you talk about pretty things ahead? After all, this is God's will. Why can't you think about Christmas instead? Because we were born where the Son of God was born, and there Christmas is cancelled. Thank you. By the way, that poem was written with all sentences that have actually been said to me, just so you understand the environment. I don't know who is next.
Thank you for showing up. It means the world to us, and it means the world to everyone in Palestine, because the Palestinians in Palestine do not get a holiday. They don't get to go home to anyone, just because they don't really even have a home. We are very privileged this holiday, and I just ask that everyone keeps in mind that you're all very privileged to have a home to go to, a roof to sleep under, a bed to sleep on, food to eat, water to drink. The Palestinians have no water, they have no food, they have nothing. They're literally in tents, and it's raining and it's winter, so they're freezing, they're starving. No food's being allowed into Palestine, no water's allowed into Palestine, no aid's allowed into Palestine. So essentially they're just starving, sitting outside. And considering that this is a vigil, I just want us to all take a moment to remember all the kids that have been killed. There's been 10,000 deaths, 10,000 children. The average age of those killed in Gaza is 5 years old. So if you just think about that for a second, 25,000 deaths, and the average age of those killed is 5 years old in Gaza. Since October 7th, they've coined a new term, and that's WCNSF, Wounded Child, No Surviving Family. 95% of the kids that have, 25% of the kids that have been killed are now orphans. That's not to mention all the ones that have lost at least one parent or a sibling. So you've got so many orphans in Gaza, no food, no shelter, no water, nothing. So I just really advise everyone just to be very mindful of everything that's going on, and just remember that you're very privileged to be here, very privileged to get to celebrate this time with your family, and that you even have family, even if that comes down to one family member. And I also want to remind you all of the power of boycott in all of this. Everything you're doing when it comes to boycott is essential, because it's impacting the economy, it's impacting the countries, it's impacting the people in power, because they're not listening to us when we speak, but they listen to us through our actions. So when we boycott and we do things like the global strike on Monday, it impacts the economy in the countries, and they take a really strong hit where it hurts, because at the end of the day, all they care about is their money. And if we hit them where it hurts, they're going to have to listen. So far, the impact of boycott has impacted Puma. Puma were a sponsor of the Israeli football team, with us essentially boycotting Puma. Now they no longer sponsor the Israeli football team, and that's essential, and that's one of the big things that our movement with boycott has resulted in. There's also a global strike that happened 2 weeks ago on Monday, and that was just to make sure no one spends money online, no use of credit cards, no inflow of money virtually. That also had a really, really big impact. So while we might think that there's no impact in just coming out of vigils and protests and movements, boycott is essential. Boycott a lot of products in supermarkets, like Tesco. If you go in, there's like sabra hummus, that's an Israeli product. There's Israeli avocados. Don't buy Israeli avocados. Don't buy anything that's Israeli. And if you want to know where to find all this information, it's all online. Just Google it and you'll find it. There's also, I think we've got leaflets on the information of the things that you should boycott. So if there's hundreds and thousands of us doing this, it'll hit them where it hurts, and they will have to stop eventually. As well as other parts of these movements that have impacted, there was a UN General Assembly that happened last week. 153 countries voted for a ceasefire. Unfortunately, the UK abstained. I don't know who on earth abstains for a ceasefire when it comes to a ceasefire. But there's been some sort of movement, so we know that 153 countries are listening to us, and this will continue with the boycott, and will only be stronger and louder each and every single time. The UN Security Council also passed a motion to allow aid into Gaza just yesterday. Israel abstained, they didn't veto, so that's essential to get something in for the people of Gaza. Unfortunately, Bethlehem is not going to be celebrating Christmas this year, and that's the birthplace of Jesus. And I think that speaks volumes, the fact that when we all come to celebrate Christmas, we're celebrating the birth of Jesus. But the birthplace of Jesus is not celebrating Christmas, because if Jesus was born now, he'd be born under the rubble. Thank you.
Thanks, Vijay. We've got speakers here today from different places, from Palestine itself, but also from across Wales. Are you ready to sing? Are you ready to sing? Well, we've got somebody who's quite good at singing, and she's been a great supporter of the Palestinian people. So I'd like to ask Charlotte Church to come forward and do her thing. Thank you, Charlotte.
Hi everyone. Nadolig Llawen, as much as we can. So I thought that maybe we could sing a song that we sang a couple of weeks ago for those of you who were here. It's really simple, we can all sing it together, and it is a song that has been written by an amazing activist and thinker called Adrienne Marie Brown in America. And basically it's three lines first of all, so we sing 3 times over, we breathe together, and and then we sing Stop the Occupation, and then 3 times we sing We March Together, and then Stop the Occupation, and 3 times we sing We Strike Together, Stop the Occupation, and then we sing Ceasefire, Ceasefire. So it sort of sounds like this. I'll demonstrate first, and then you guys can sing, yeah? So it goes like this. We breathe together, we breathe together, we breathe together, stop the occupation, your turn. We breathe together, we breathe together, we breathe together, stop the occupation. Next we march. We march together, we march together, we march together, stop the occupation. We strike together, we strike together, we strike together, stop the occupation. Wonderful. And then this next bit goes ceasefire, 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 stop the occupation, your turn. Ceasefire, 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 stop the occupation. Okay, so we're going to put that all together. Can you huddle closer? Can we huddle a bit closer? I really feel the vibes. Lovely. And let's really sing so that Coca-Cola van gets drowned out. Literally chalk and cheese. Okay, so we breathe together 3 times. We march together 3 times, and we strike together 3 times, and then it's into the ceasefire, and every time it's stop the occupation, okay? 1, 2, 4. We breathe together, we breathe together, give it a clap. We breathe together, stop the occupation. We march together, we march together, we march together, stop the occupation. We strike together, we strike together, we strike together, stop the occupation. Ceasefire, 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 stop the occupation. One more time, ceasefire, 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 stop the occupation. Give yourself a round of applause. And I just want to sing, I'd like to sing you just a little verse and chorus of Oh Holy Night. Just as it's Christmas, and you can join in if you like, absolutely. And I'm just sending this straight to Palestine, straight to anybody who needs comfort and nurture and a bit of love. Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Saviour's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till See you next week, guys. Thank you.
I don't think there's anyone who wants to follow that, right? Unless there's a choir wants to sing, there was some talk of it. Otherwise, we'll stay here for a while and just have some peaceful thinking about what's going on and examine what it is we can do. We all know there's plenty to do to try and help save Gaza. Thank you. One more choir to sing.
We're going to do the last. Yes. Biladi, 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 laki hubbi wa fuadi. Biladi, 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 laki hubbi wa fuadi. Yakfalu al-ladin, al-ladin ma tarmali. Yakfalu al-ladin, al-ladin ma tarmali. Nahnu nawarna as-sabil, damuna hurra yunadi. Biladi, 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 laki hubbi wa fuadi. Biladi, 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 laki hubbi wa fuadi.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for coming up. Thank you.
Rifat was a poet and a creative writing lecturer at the university in Gaza, and he was the co-founder of a project called We Are Not Numbers that taught to Palestinian kids in Gaza to write their story so that they could be heard and not just be numbers. And he posted this poem on his social media just a few days before being killed. And the poem, the title of the poem is If I Must Die. If I must die, you must live, to tell my story, to sell my things, to buy a piece of cloth and some strings, make it white with a long tail, so that a child somewhere in Gaza, while looking heaven in the eye, awaiting his dead who left in a blaze, and bid no farewell, not even to his flesh, not even to himself. Seize the kite, my kite you made, flying up above, and thinks for a moment an angel is there, bringing back love. If our minds die, let it bring hope, let it be a story.
We had some great entertainment. Charlotte's led us in a song. I think we just need to keep this momentum behind what we've been doing. So talk to your friends, get them involved in the boycott campaign. And we will be here. Something will happen every week until Gaza is no longer being bombed. And thereafter, there'll be some more work to be done to make sure it's free from blockades and the people of Gaza, the people of Palestine are free from occupation. So thank you very much, everyone.